Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
To that same old place that you laughed about. And I'm not going to sing the rest of it.
Oh, damn it. I had my hummies all sorted.
Well done. My name's Chris.
My name's Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast. We have traditionally done the Great Australian Bake Off and the Great British Bake Off. Shout out as well to Paul Verhoeven and Tegan Higginbotham.
Because originally our podcast was about another podcast called The Cooling Rack.
And also they're doing magnificent stuff on Doctor Who at the moment, so make sure you check that out. But those of you who have listened to us previously will realise this is not Great Australian Bake Off we're talking about.
It's also not safe for work.
It's also definitely not safe for work. And those of you that have never listened to us think this is thoroughly confusing already. So with that in mind, let's get into it. Now, we're going to be reviewing Masterchef. Now, we're not going to do every single night because, quite frankly, that's insane.
I have things to do.
Yeah, I have a life. You may not think it, but I do.
I have iPad games to play.
Exactly. and I have Fallout 4 shelters to build and other things to do. So
It's called work.
And work. Oh, that's right. That thing called work. I always
Work.
forget about that. Anyway, what we will be doing is 2 episodes at the moment a week.
Monday night.
We're looking at Monday night and then possibly Wednesday after the week run. We'll work all that timing out as we go through and whatever's going to be best, and we'll let you all know.
Yeah.
But this is going to be something that's just going to be fun to do. We love doing this sort of thing. We love talking cooking.
I know, but my night tonight started off brilliant because pan over Melbourne, perfect shot of the Hoddle Grid. Fucking loved the Hoddle Grid.
It was a good start, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
I do have one concern just quickly before we get into the show itself and the cooking is who repainted the building?
Painters, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing it was the paint. Maybe it was Painters and Dockers. Shout out to all
Painters
those
and
Melbourne
Dockers.
band supporters and also those trade unionists in Melbourne. Big shout out. But no, the building, I can't say it any other way. It looks shit.
No, but the thing is, I've noticed in design, you know how like we go through a period of confused shit design, where car designs go shit, house colours go weird, and things just don't make sense, and it just finally makes sense when a kind of crazy craze comes along, like textured paint or something.
I thought you were going to say we've been through a phase where My Kitchen Rules has been on TV and their colour's red, so they painted the Masterchef building red.
No, Masterchef's always been red. My Kitchen Rules and Masterchef both did red.
Okay, we'll go with that. And by the way, before anyone goes, My Kitchen Rules, I hate that show. So
I find it delightfully, wonderfully, and frustratingly fun.
Whereas I can't stand it, and every time you watched it, I was in the background yelling at it.
Yes, so we'll just leave that. We'll park
Because
that.
we'll talk about a much better show.
Exactly.
So normally we will have a bit more insight, a bit more blinding insight. We're good at this. Just ask everyone who listens to us all the time. We're great with the blinding insight.
Yes, tangents are not our thing. It's always about deep,
Focus.
insightful.
We're always focused.
Discussions.
We're always focused. There's no tangents anywhere to be seen.
Relevant to the TV, that show we're watching.
However, tonight,
yes,
it's a bit different, and the main reason that it's a little bit different is, well, let's face it, I don't know a single one of those people's names.
No, there was Pete.
Oh, that's right. Pete's the crane operator.
Crane operator.
Now, and
shout out to Lisa Romano. Awesome.
Lisa and her height pun.
Yes. Taking food to new heights.
Taking food to new heights was definitely a wonderful way to begin the sort of tweeting.
Yes.
And one of a friend of the show, Beck Pobb, she tweeted out, why is everyone surprised that a crane operator can cook? I mean, everyone can cook. There's no rules as to who can and can't cook.
Yeah.
But the thing that you've got to remember about the first episode back is that you're not supposed to know anyone's name.
No.
It's that guy that looks like that thing, or the guy with the beard, or the guy with the
Hipster
hair. Or, no, as I call hipster guy, the guy who looks a lot like that guy from last year that I still don't remember the name of.
Hipster guy number one.
I think it's Ashley, but
It was. Well done.
I don't know.
Or is like called Elena, like the Amazon goddess.
What I'm
That's
terrified
what
about is I
called her.
remember Ashley's name now,
Yeah.
a year after it's relevant and rightly important. At the time, no clue who this guy was.
Yeah.
So, the first thing that we noticed, and I think you brought it up, the people who are on MasterChef this year
Grew up watching it.
Yeah, and I think it's obvious.
It's obvious and it's brilliant because you're like, yes, prodigies are coming through. Now, Bake Off, we had Antonio Macora, who just fucking blew our mind with his 16-year-old self, cooking shit that when I was 16, I would not have even eaten.
For those who haven't listened before, I'm a teacher, and I had kids in my class the other day talking about how to cook 2-minute noodles.
Congratulations.
One of them used the phrase kettle water. So I've got 16-year-olds using the words kettle water and wondering if you put the 2-minute noodle sachet in the kettle when you boil it.
Surprised they even know what a kettle is. Don't they get their coffee from a shop?
And meanwhile, we've got an 18-year-old tonight making lighter than air food and
like a sphere, a beautiful, perfect.
We'll come back to spheres.
Perfectly tempered. Okay, we'll come back to Mish later.
We'll come back to spheres all over the place. I'm talking about...
I may or may not be kidnapping for my Antonio and Mish breeding program.
I'm thoroughly convinced, by the way, that Antonio is gathering a young mafia between Mish and Callum at the end.
Yeah.
I think he's just gathering this young mafia and he's going to take over the food world.
The pastry pack.
The pastry pack? That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
We'll have to sell him on that idea and then own the trademark.
Yes.
But the show tonight, what was very apparent is these people are practiced. They've done all this before. There's no haphazard plating. There's no, it tastes good, but sorry about this. All of this stuff looks like about week 8 last year.
Uh-huh. Oh, last year's pack guys were really good too, but this year, like I thought last year was quite elevated. I mean, remember Teresa's, ice cream cone and how she presented it, and that was her audition. It's like I'm thinking, how the fuck can they top this? And boom!
Well, my only concern, we'll come back to spheres. We really will, because
spheres.
But my concern is that with some of the big things we saw tonight in their get-in, basically their audition, occasionally that can then go badly when they get into the competition. Because they've done that. One, they've set a bar really high.
2, they've probably practiced it quite a lot.
Yeah, that's the practice dish. 3, a lot of the time, it's the simple stuff that trips people over. It's not the complex stuff.
But it also comes down to passion. It comes down to, the whole thing with the competition. It starts to sift out the people who have some idea and some talent and a little bit of luck, and they get sifted out to the people who are truly passionate and who extend and learn and build their skills throughout the whole thing. And that's what I love about shows like MasterChef and Bake Off, is that you actually see that progression. You see people come in and you can see that their minds are being fueled by the environment around them. And that's what I find amazing. And, most people are like, oh, reality shows suck. But you know what? These kind of cooking reality shows have actually, I think, added to our culture in Australia. And particularly, around the layperson's knowledge and appreciation for food, but also the expertise in the next generation coming through.
I mean, I think last year you picked Elena from day one. We picked Elena from day one.
Probably from about week 2.
It was about week 2. And she got better. And she got better and better and better and better and better as it went on until the end. There was no other choice.
Absolutely.
And I think that growth, you're right about that growth. But I think it's, as I said, the first episode, always you forget before you watch the first episode that there is so much going on that remembering details and remembering every little moment of it is going to be nearly impossible.
Absolutely.
Because it's just throw people through. This person gets an apron. What was that? I don't know, but they got an apron.
What did they call? Wheeling a trolley. They went through a gateway and suddenly they have an apron.
Narnia. I'm not convinced they weren't.
George is Mr. Tomlin.
I'm not convinced they weren't actually just running an apron factory. And there was no cooking going on. They were just selling the aprons and sort of wheeling them in and wheeling them out the other side.
We have no limit on aprons.
We have no limit on aprons, but we're going to make sure we've got just enough to have 3 or 4 up tomorrow night.
Yes, but, no limit means we've got a limit. There's only 24 fucking aprons. Can't cut one in half.
You get the feeling about halfway...
2 people in one apron.
You get the feeling about halfway through, they just sort of go, right, guys, start telling all these people they're through to tomorrow night. We've got a show to fill. Just start telling them all they're going through to tomorrow night instead. Just that one's good enough to go through. No, tell them tomorrow.
This sphere is just better than the other sphere, and it came with perfect what's it called, gnocchi, and perfectly made 7 caviar. I'm sorry, or wasabi caviar. I'm sorry, they have to go through to tomorrow night.
Now, let's get to
Mish. No.
the Bain Marie of this whole episode.
All right.
It's not the Bain Marie of this whole episode. I know it's just the Bain, but, every time I hear Bain, I think Kath and Kim, you're the Bain Marie of my life.
Oh, no.
And I think the problem actually...
chooses.
Well, the problem actually is spheres and parfaits.
Spheres and parfaits,
I'm-
spheres and parfaits, spheres and parfaits.
I'm sorry, but I'm over spheres, I'm over parfaits, and let me just add right now, matcha. I am sick of being told that matcha is revolutionary.
Chris ain't a matcha man.
Matcha, matcha man.
Chris ain't really
A matcha man. No, it's okay. It's like, again, it's the in flavour, but we've been doing matcha now on every television show that involves cooking for over a year. Can we stop pretending it's this new thing?
That's true. It needs to go the way of parfaits. And what are the wibbly wobbly things? Do you want to talk about?
I know,
wibbly
I
things?
know what you mean, but parfaits need to go the way of the dodo as far as I'm concerned, because I'm over the parfait.
No, what are they called? I'm having Jeopardy moment. The panna cotta. Panna cotta. Needs to go the way of the panna cotta.
Well, it
It
does.
just needs to be accepted that matcha is a part of your ingredients.
But spheres and parfaits, for anyone who watched Masterchef last year, they were around almost every week, to the point where if you were following around on the Twitter sphere, and yes, I used the word Twitter sphere there.
Ooh, look at you being up with the times.
It became.
Next you'll tell me you'll be using Snapchat and
It was
filters.
more. It was more my reference to the word sphere in the Twitter sphere. But they became
sorry.
such a problem last year. It became a drinking game for all of us. Every time someone makes a
Spheres
sphere,
and parfaits.
every time someone made a parfait, it's have a drink, and you'd be smashed by about the middle of the third
Tonight,
episode.
we would have been rolling around on the floor after the first 10 minutes.
I'm like, okay, I hope we're going to get a bit of a breather from spheres this
Nah.
year. The first dish is a gold sphere.
You know what's a highly unused, three-dimensional shape?
Trapezoid?
Pyramids. Now, they've been around. They're due for a comeback.
Well, Bake Off Australia tried.
James, shout out. Shout out to your bell tower.
Represent. But they tried, but yeah, it didn't. I mean, and I think Beck, probably again on Twitter tonight, pointed out that why not a rhombus? Why not a rectangle? Why not something else? Just
cube.
anything else. Cube food.
Because spheres, right, you're using a mould and you're just gluing two edges together. A cube, you have to cut out 6 perfect squares and glue those together.
We're going back to kindergarten, aren't we? Here we're drawing that shape, the long shape where you fold it up to make the box.
I know, remember you had to make the net?
Yes.
And then my friend blew my mind when he said, so if you make a net out of cubes, then when you could fold it in 4-dimensional space to make whatever the next step up, the 4-dimensional equivalent of a cube is. And I'm like, I'm not stoned enough to deal with this. I didn't even know what that was.
My
I was in year 8.
my brain's broken. Anyway, I'd like another shape. Just something
Dodecahedron.
Dodecahedron. Dodecahedron. So we had. Look, I kept some notes. I stopped at Pete. I stopped at Pete and his chicken goodness.
Pete, repeat.
I stopped at Pete and his chicken goodness.
He did make good chicken.
I mean, his little chicken goodness thing, as I said, it was a new retelling of Chicken Little. Instead of the sky is falling, the sky is wonderful. Let's look at it and admire it, everybody. It's chicken goodness. So we went through the run early on we had Mish and the Sphere with the tempered chocolate. And by the way, congratulations on realising you're going into a cooking competition and you might want to be able to temper chocolate. Because the number of times in the last few years, people have gone into MasterChef in particular.
I don't know how to temper chocolate.
They're going to ask you to temper
I
chocolate.
can't believe I'm tempering chocolate in the MasterChef kitchen.
That was an exact quote
A
from last year.
literal quote from last year.
It was a literal quote from last year. I can't believe I'm tempering chocolate in the MasterChef kitchen. To which everyone at home went, have you never seen this show?
MasterChef.
You never seen this show before? So you're always going to be asked to temper chocolate. The fact that she demonstrated she could do a sphere and temper chocolate before she got in there, bonuses.
Yes. Good on you, Mish.
It was well done. Then we had a gnocchi with parmesan crisp.
Pia's gnocchi.
Pia's gnocchi and the parmesan. I just like the parmesan crisp.
I was a bit worried about Pia. I'm thinking, oh, they're giving an apron away. Poor Pia. And then boom, no.
No, they normally do a run of aprons.
I can't remember last
They
year.
do a run of aprons and then they do a run of nose, but the first nose always a 50-50 no.
Oh,
and
this
then
no.
they go, we'll come back. Okay, we'll come to the no in a second. Because you're skipping over Benita.
Benita! And we get to make play school references. I'm hoping she creates a little Ted. Or a Jemima. Or at least a Hamble.
I'm hoping she creates at least a Hamble. Okay, from here on in. I want a Hamble so much now. I don't even know what it's going to be.
Where's Benita? Let's look through the round window. Oh,
What's Benita cooking today, everybody?
And for her to serve up, she puts it behind the rocket clock.
Well, the parfait's leaning to the left, so it's something o'clock. So Benita, and she made pork belly, so that's, you're through.
Woo!
And then we had the first hipster.
Yes.
There were a couple of them tonight.
Yes, okay, so remind me of this hipster.
Samuel was the first. He was the roux guy.
Samuel.
He was the roux guy.
Yeah, good use
Roux,
of indigenous products.
Roux, ducker, and presentation.
Now, I just want to say here, right, if you are sourcing indigenous ingredients, make sure you're sourcing them from indigenous people. They have good industries going on out there, and if you really want to be friendly to and pay your respect to the land, buy from indigenous sources. Okay, back to the original programming.
Okay, back to the original programming, only
Yes.
briefly, because we're talking about being friendly. Let's talk about the first no.
I was excited. Here was a woman who's Persian, gorgeous. I was calling her the Queen of Sheba.
Yeah, that ruined kind of your whole podcast vibe going there. Of you had Queen of Sheba jokes lined up, and
I was
and
ready for
the
it.
repertoire was ready to go.
And she was a singer, so we could have made it up a Queen of Sheba song.
Yeah, we could have. There were songs galore. Ladies and gentlemen, here's my first dish, and sings it.
And I didn't realise how integral cracking fucking rice was to that dish.
Okay, the problem is that unfortunately they were right about the dish.
Oh, they sounded like they were fucking mansplaining, but that was just me until I realised they were right.
Here's the problem, okay? She started a trend. Zeta started a problem trend, which was normally you wait until they taste the dish before you start begging.
Yeah.
And tonight, these people would serve up the food. And before they'd taste it, they do what they normally do, which is George does this lovely undercutting question that he asks, which makes you doubt your existence as a whole.
And his
It's
eyes
very
pierce through your
Between
existence.
George Columbaris and Paul Hollywood, it's amazing that anybody in the world of cooking has any confidence whatsoever.
No, it's why George has to be here and Paul Hollywood has to stay in the UK.
Because they put them together.
Because their gazes hold the universe in its place. If you put them facing in the same direction, we're fucked.
Off the axis. So, between Columbaris, though, and Hollywood, they have this ability to ask you a question. They don't tell you you're wrong, but they ask you a question that makes you doubt your very existence. Not your cooking, just you in general. I'm not a person. I don't exist. So, Columbaris asks the question about the rice and makes a comment about the fact that you're sure there's enough of it. Now, rather than go, have you fucking tasted that yet? Eat it, try it, come back to us after that.
Yeah.
She immediately starts begging, I can do so much better for you. Let me have another go.
I won't let you down.
Well done. You sang that quite nicely.
Yeah, because she's a singer.
She's a singer. Well done.
Yeah.
I got the reference. Nice work.
Yeah, thanks.
And she sings this... Well, she doesn't sing it, but you sang it beautifully.
Yeah.
She should have sung it maybe.
I won't let you down. My rice dish is awesome. Just taste it. I can make better later. Give me a second chance.
If you want the rights to that song, feel free to give us a bell and we'll put something together on the rights package for you. It's very affordable. But rather than go, just taste it first. No, she's out there and begged them. Yeah. And the second you're begging them before they've tasted the dish, you're dead. There's no way. You're done for. And there were a couple of other people tonight who started begging. Came in, put the dish down and went, I can do so much better than this. And there were other people who put the dish down and went, I'll work really hard, and I'll try all the time, and I'll be fun, and I'll be good, and let them eat the thing first, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to beg before you actually get them to taste it, you're not convincing them you know how to cook.
Yeah, and it's a little, like, I don't know if it's about the editing that happened in, or there was something going on beforehand, or they just knew they fucked up. I mean, I wouldn't go in. If I fucked up, that silver trolley and I'd be wheeling the other way.
You go going the other way.
I just flew through flour in everyone's face.
Must kill Mo.
And I threw flour in everyone's face and escaped through the back door.
Look over there! Cloud of white appeared. Through the cloud of white out the doors. Sayonara, suckers! And off you go. What was wrong with her? Apparently the gnocchi wasn't any good. Bit dry, it turns out.
That's what's bouncing off the walls.
But it's a weird trend of begging before you serve the dish.
Yeah.
Let them try it first. Let them experience it. Then if you need to beg. Although, my other thing, and it's hard to... It makes you sound like a heartless bastard. But I'm going to sound like a heartless bastard. I'm sick of people who, before anyone tries the food, they start telling you the backstory, and it's the sob backstory.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make it feel like they're judging the food on the principle of the food.
They're judging it on the story they can tell.
Yeah, this is going to be a great story, and it comes across... Now, again, that's not to downplay the quality of their food. On the contrary, most of the food that was served up with the backstory looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But as they admitted themselves, we're tasting a lot of good food today, and there's every chance the second you hear one of those backstories, subconsciously even, not if you're not deliberately doing it, but subconsciously you go, there's a story here.
Yeah.
We can dig into this. Or wouldn't it be nice if we gave them a go?
Mm. And that's what I think that the producers really need to focus on is the food, because quite a few years ago they started getting carried away with the backstories, and while that might be great for new idea and their sales, quite frankly, keep it in the mags, because people who are interested in that kind of stuff can read the magazines. Those of us who are there, and we want to know a little bit about the person, just a general thing. We don't need to hear my goldfish died yesterday.
Did it?
Yeah, sorry, somebody ate it. That's our cat.
We didn't have a goldfish. Well, not as much as I know, maybe. Maybe we did.
Oh, okay.
Whose goldfish did it? Did she?
Oh, I'll have to go and knock on the neighbours' doors.
Not
Sorry.
Again. Not again. That's not nice when it happens.
Yes.
But no, I think George Columbaris mentioned it. Matt Preston or George Columbaris, one of them, might have been Matt actually, in the lead-in, commented that a couple of years ago they were ready to give it away, and then they sort of revisited the format and went, let's scrap a lot of the non-cooking elements from it and just go back to food.
Absolutely. There was that year, I think it was 2 years ago, I boycotted because of that ridiculous premise of boys versus girls.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Did not need a battle of the sexes. This is not mid-90s. This is not Wendy Harmer and Sydney breakfast radio. We don't need that bullshit on our screens.
There's no Wendy Harmer. There's no Ed Phillips. There's none of these people hosting this battle of the sexes, and we don't need it. And I think they realised after that series that the idea of getting away from the food was a problem. And last series was a triumph because they went back to food. Yep. And we saw some amazing cooking last series.
I mean, so much Australian food is celebrated in Masterchef and in Great Australian Bake Off and in River Cottage Australia and a few other shows like that. I love that. It's authentic and there's always more to explore. There's always a new farmer or a new source of food to find out about, and new ways of preparing things and new stories to hear, like that dude who blew up the hill.
Oh, yes, the guy who blew the hill, yes.
That was on some Foxtel show. Yeah, he blew up the hill to make way for a vineyard. It was great.
So, obviously, so the first episode, the recap's just going to be was just sort of this general recap that we had in mind.
Yep.
As we get into the series, obviously, and when they finally narrow down that 24, then we'll even bother to learn their names.
Yeah.
Mostly. And
I picked up a few tonight.
I picked up a few, but...
Mostly incorrectly because I couldn't hear, and they don't fucking flash them on the screen, so I can't
The one
correct
thing
myself.
they need to go back to was, remember when they used to put the names up
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to go back. That's the one part of the show I would bring back. Bring names up.
Even the people who left.
Especially
I don't
when we're
care.
flying through people at the start.
Just a little flash.
Like, there was one point, the montage
Dave.
was so fast, I looked down, and by the time I looked up, we were 3 people further on.
Yep.
And it's a nightmare. And granted, I was trying to take notes and tweeting on 2 Twitter accounts, but be that as it may, by the time I looked back up, 3 people had gone through. I missed them.
Exactly. And, like, when they brought that guy, Callan, with an N from the Masterchef Twitter account, I thought his name was Callum, because even when George and Gary were repeating it, it seemed to me they were saying Callum. So I'm thinking, oh, here's a joke. Young guy called Callum wows everyone on Masterchef. You know, link back to Callum, what's his face?
Who won
who won quite a few years ago. Oh, no, I think he came second.
Yeah,
or maybe,
2010,
And no, it's Callan. So my tweet joke is ruined, and I'm constantly looking like a dickhead.
Well, there's that too. But, no. So, what we're going to be doing, as I said, we'll be doing 2 episodes a week. Usually, it'll either be just us, or it will occasionally be with guests.
Yep.
We do frequently have guests on. We've got a couple lined up, which we're looking forward to being able to share with you guys. So keep an eye out for that when we get up to it. Now, also, we have mentioned to people who do listen to the Washing Up that we will also be doing one non-cooking related podcast.
Oh, how can it not be non-cooking related? Eurovision is the heart of cooking. Unz, unz, unz. I'm trying to make it sound like Euro.
You did a very good job of making it sound like Eurovision. Yep,
Yeah.
we are indeed doing Eurovision this weekend. It's not remotely cooking related. We can pretend, but we're not even going to try.
It is coming from the land of Ruslana,
The Ukraine,
also
exactly.
known as the Ukraine.
And hopefully next year we'll be going to Italy, the land of food. There we go. What a segue. What a segue. So we haven't worked out the exact format in terms of if we're doing, I think we'll do possibly one after the semi-finals, the joint semi-final recap, and then definitely, though, the grand final.
Yeah. I'd like to do a preview as well, because I think it'd be funny to listen back to us gabbing on about, you know, things before we see them live.
Yeah, gabbing on about Occidentelli's karma.
Do, 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 do,
Italy's song for Eurovision, check it out. So we will be doing Eurovision, obviously, coming up. So look out for that as well. And then MasterChef. And also, here and there, check out my...
his side project.
My side project, my Food Nerd Vanity project.
He broke away from me and, like, picked up an awesome woman called Fee.
Picked up Fee Newen from Great Australian Bake Off. Shout out Fee.
Sorry, did you hear that dropping sound? Oh, that was just a name.
It was name dropping. I'm just dropping names all over the place. So, the Food Nerd Vanity project, where at the moment we're currently going through and doing the series of Chef's Table.
Yep. Now, before you give us the complete wind up, what I would like us to do is to preview what we saw in what's coming up on MasterChef.
Okay, so what we saw coming up in MasterChef, well, the one thing that I saw is that Maggie Beer is cheating on Antonio from Bake Off.
I know. She's like the Helen Mirren. She's like the chick from Bond who gets together all the agents.
Oh yeah, Judi Dench.
She's like Judi Dench, right? Getting together all these like young, cool, hip people, and she's going to like form them into a super mecha team, and she's going to be like the Charlies.
Mecha Beer.
And they're going to be like, she's going to be like the Charlie to their angels, and they'll make pastry all over the world.
With verjuice.
With verjuice.
Lots and lots of verjuice.
And the pate. And those who care should go out and buy Maggie Beer's pate, because you can enter a competition to go and meet her. It's pretty cool.
Except what you've just done there is decrease your chances of winning that contest.
No, not really. Mathematically speaking, it'd have to be a lot of people that entered.
Yeah.
To really curve that off.
And I mean, you are planning on entering, 50, 60, 70
I like
times?
pate. I like Maggie Beer. What can I say?
This is going to work out quite nicely then. So we've got Maggie Beer to look forward to in the next episode, where again they had no limit, but they seem to have a perfect number of aprons left
to compete for.
It's amazing how that worked.
But the one thing I noticed, and I don't know if this is editing and who they chose, but a lot of the times if you looked like a hipster, you had a penis, and you just didn't quite cook your meat right, you seem to got through. Like it's the Tim and Kyle effect. It's the bro effect.
There's so
it's
much.
Just passing on from my kitchen rules.
There's so much in that sentence that you just said. If you're a hipster with a penis and you can't quite cook your meat right, there's so much in that sentence to unpack. Take that home, listeners. That's for you.
Yes. Oh, the other thing I'm excited about, dessert week. Did you see the glow in the dark desserts? Oh my god!
What I'm terrified again of is we're going to see parfaits and spheres.
Yeah, I would like someone also, because remember how Anna
Yes.
what's the facey brings out the bomb that she's
Yes.
making, like the bomb. I'm like, I hope someone does a tribute to what's that thing called? Sorry, I'm doing Jeopardy mode tonight. Drag queens going out, Priscilla Queen of the Desert, and instead of the bomb, they make the tampon. You know the line when she's in the pub and she's like, "It'll be the biggest bang you'll get."
You'll get used to this, people. I swear you'll get used to this.
No, don't. It's fun. Just go with the madness.
Join us. It's wonderful. So, with that in mind, I think that sort of wraps up episode 1, as I've referred to it, Cravats Away.
Cravats away!
So-
Oh no, roll out the barrel, roll out cravat. We're watching Masterchef on a screen that's flat. Because it's a TV that's a flat screen.
You could have made mention of Matt right there, you realise?
Oh my god, I could.
You
roll
missed
out
the easy
barrel, roll out the mat. Here comes, I'll work on that for
Here
next week.
come the judges. One's got a cravat. There you go.
Yes, thank
Look
you.
at me rhyming. You know, vanilla on vanilla rice over here. If there was a problem, I'll solve it. Check out my hook while my DJ revolves it. And on that bombshell, it is time for us to finish up. My name's Chris.
My name's Kristie.
And we will catch you all next time.
Ciao.